Hey guys, thank you so much for being on our Hangout tonight. I'm Brent.
I'm Julie.
And we're the Frenches. We're both Emerald Ambassadors from Pensacola, Florida. And we are honored that you've chosen to be with us on our Hangout tonight. I'm excited about our guest tonight.
I'm very excited, yes.
Before we go into introducing her, I want you to say what's happened with Lindalin's team the last.
Oh my goodness, Lindalyn her team has done an event this weekend. Many of you knew about it on the Posse. I guess did you make a comment about it on the Posse?
No.
No. Okay, it was in the it was on the other. Okay. So, but anyway, she did an event with her team, and in the last 48 hours, get this, in the last 48 hours, her team added 10 new ambassadors. 10. But it's better than that because it was 24 hours that 9 of them were added. The 10th one was added in the 48 hours. 24 hours, 9 were added.
So, Lindalyn, that is great for your team because, you know, you really were kind of stuck for a little while. Well, more than a little while. And you'd see a little bit of incremental growth, but you put this program together and threw it all out there, and your team just jumped right on board, and you saw some great success. I know you had talked to me about it. She said, pray with me because I'm praying for 10 ambassadors. And I messaged her, 5, how many now? 6, 7, 8, 9. And just before we got on tonight, she said, hey, guess what? I just signed my 10th one. So congratulations to you and your team. That's awesome. And I know you're excited to see. We're going to ask Natalie about that and just a little bit how important it is for to help us with our momentum and growth in network marketing. Do you want to say anything to your people?
I just want to give them props. They did really great, participated, invited, prompted people to be on there. So, yeah, congratulations to all of you guys. We did it, and they're excited. They want to do it again like monthly or every other month. So, yay!
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I've been listening to a lot of network marketing speakers this week, and one of the things that I was telling Lindalyn about this morning when I saw her was, I believe it was Orrin Woodward said, sometimes when you're observing from the outside and you see the yappy dog, the dog that's all over the place, and he's running all over the place, and he said these people sometimes never see the rabbit. They never see the rabbit. They just see the dog and wonder what's happening with the dog. But when they finally see the rabbit, they understand why the dog is acting like that. And I think we get that way in network marketing. We get all excited and we're happy, and people are like, why are they so excited? And then they realize things like this happen, Lindalyn, and with the 10, you saw the rabbit and you went for it, and you got crazy for it. So that's awesome. So congratulations to you. Julie, I am so excited about Natalie being with us today. Natalie, we met her and her husband, oh gosh, right when they... On a cruise, that's right.
2012.
On our, I guess that was our first leaders retreat in October 2012, and met them, and they're just great people. And Natalie, congratulations to you. You're one of our first advisory international board members, right?
That's right.
That's congratulations, and we're happy. You are Emerald Ambassador from Canada, and she's in the process of moving, guys. She's been moving all day today.
And she's taking a break.
And she's taking a break just to do this with us tonight. So, Natalie, thank you so much for being on, and, you know, we're just honored that you've been with us. Now, we were talking just a little bit before. You have been in network marketing for over 20 years.
Yep, 21 years now.
21 years. And it kind of amused me because I said, so you knew Alfred, you know, and she said, I knew Alfred, Tarl, and Alec. Tarl was just what?
He was probably 16, 17. He was just a teenage boy, and he wasn't very tall. I think he started growing a little late in life, so he looked like a little boy, and he was just always hanging out at the back of the room when his parents were doing the meetings.
That's
so I never seen him. It was funny to see him a full-grown man.
That's awesome. And he's definitely an incredible leader for our company, and it's pretty cool that you knew them. Well, we want to turn it over to you because I know you have so many years in network marketing and so many years of success. I understand that you investigated several different companies before you chose Plexus. Is that correct?
Yes. Actually, I've done 3 different companies in the 20 years, and all those companies are still in business. But I hadn't really been working from 2009 until 2012. My husband and I were enjoying the residual income from a company we were no longer building. Incredible products, good management, terrible comp plan, binary comp plan that we just didn't feel good recruiting people anymore. And so we stopped building that business in 2009, just were living off the residuals. 2012, when I turned 50, June 2012, I turned 50. That summer, we took a vacation, my husband and I, to Virginia Beach in New York. And we said, okay, what are we going to do with the next third of our life? I'm not really sure where I'm looking right now. I'll just go look straight at Linda.
Yes.
Now I'm looking at,
I'm the same way.
So we decided that we would look at one more company. Network marketing is what I love. You know, people say, would you do it if you had all the money in the world? Yeah, I love what I do. I have got the best job in the entire world. I mean, this is living my dream, doing network marketing. There isn't anything else I'd rather do. I'm a nurse by profession. I had a great nursing position. I was a nurse management in a maternal infant high-risk program. I loved that job, but it was a job. They actually expected me to show up for work every day, where here we have total freedom. So I love what I do, but I hadn't been doing anything for a few years. So in 2012, we started investigating, and just to set the parameters a little bit. And you mentioned Orrin Woodward. I went and stayed at Orrin Woodward's in Port St. Lucie, Florida, back in March 2011 with 7 other professionals, well, just myself and one gentleman by the name of Ken Dunn and a comp plan engineer by the name of Rick. We stayed at Orrin Woodward's, and he was the first of 8 companies we evaluated, not because we were interested in doing Mona V, but because we were interviewing top income earners. We did 8 companies in 8 cities in 7 states in 8 days. Port St. Lucie, Florida, he actually put us on the Mona V jet, sent us over to Dallas where we did our next meeting, and we did 8 meetings in 8 days. We were collecting information for the American Network Marketing Professional Group, and it was, what do you love about the comp plan? What are the barriers in building? And what would be things you could change? If you could change, what would be the things you would change? And so we collected some great information. And I came home from that totally armed with knowing what I wanted in a business when I was ready. It was 2011. I hadn't done anything for 2 years, but I knew what I wanted in a company. So 2012, I was ready to look for something. And that's the beauty about network marketing. You see, I had an income coming in every month because of the efforts I had done in another company. I had income coming in, but now I wanted to actually actively work again. And when my girlfriend said to me, why don't you take a look at Plexus, give Alfred and Tarl a call and talk to them about their company. They seem to be doing really well. They had everything I wanted and more. And to this day, I still find it amazing that the elements that they have in this comp plan, I've never seen in any other comp plan in any other company. So I'll just tell you a few of the key things that were sort of important for me.
Sure.
I wanted a company that didn't tie their welcome pack or starter pack, depending on the language of the company. Here we call it a welcome pack, to the comp plan. Because most companies now, they do. If you start with the $100 plan, welcome pack, then you get this much of the comp plan. Now, if you start with the $499, you get this much access to it right away. If you start with the $1,000, we're going to start you as a gold. We're going to pay you like you're a gold ambassador.
Wow.
And you've got 6 months to get to that position, or you're going to fall back. So it does a couple things. People who can't afford $1,000, they feel that they're already at a disadvantage the day they start in. So psychologically, it's not a very nice thing. But I will tell you, the majority of comp plans, their starter packs are tied to their comp plan. So I didn't want the starter pack to be connected. I wanted people to be able to freely get what they wanted to get because it was the best thing for them, not because of how it's tied to the comp plan. The other thing that I really liked is that in a lot of companies, the higher you get, the greater your personal volume requirement is. Here it's 100, it stays 100, all the way to the top. It never changes. Now, what was an extra bonus that I didn't have on my wish list was that even if we, in most companies, you have to place that 100 PV order regardless of how many customers you have. Well, here in Plexus, should it be that you don't need any products this month, if you've got customers, you're fully qualified and don't have to order. Because I'm on my own now that my husband passed away and I have his account, of course, I inherited his business. I don't have to place orders under his account, and I get paid every month because I have customers registered under his account, and that qualifies. So that was a huge thing.
But hold on just one second there. That's really unheard of, though, isn't it? With your I know your husband passed away just a couple years ago, that you were able to inherit that business. That doesn't happen a lot in network marketing, does it?
No, a lot of time. Well, in most cases, my husband couldn't even have a business. We'd only be able to have one business in our household. There are a few companies that allow you to have two, but yeah, that was a beautiful thing here. That in Plexus they allow you to inherit a position one. So if by chance my mom had a business and passed away, I wouldn't be able to inherit hers and Rick's. Right. But you can inherit your spouse. So that's a fabulous thing. And I'm working. I don't know if I'll get him to Emerald this month, but I'm trying to get him to Emerald this month in time for Hawaii, so I can have 4 of us in Hawaii.
That's awesome.
So working on that. So that was something that was unexpected. I really liked that. I love that it's unilevel, because in binaries, the biggest challenge you have, and binaries are the most common comp plans out there, or at least versions of the binaries, is that people are always worried about where they're going to be placed. Am I on your pay leg? Am I on your team leg? Am I on a leg that's moving because I want business to spill over into my business? If you're working, if you want to recruit anybody who has any experience, you absolutely are going to, that person's going to say, I want to make sure I'm on the team leg, and you actually need them in your smaller leg, but they're going to tell you where they're going to be if you're going to enroll them. As a matter of fact, they'll play games, and they'll say, well, if you don't put me in the right spot, I'm going to go find somebody else who will put me in the team leg. So I love at Plexus that everybody you enroll is your personal. Unilevels are a fair plan. They reward the people that are working. So I love that. Probably the thing I love the most, and why I chose Plexus from the comp plan perspective, and there's other reasons, of course, but from the comp plan perspective is, and this is the hardest thing for somebody who's never done network marketing to appreciate, in most comp plans, you have to build leadership sort of equally. In order to be a gold, I have to have a silver on 2 different legs. If I want to be a senior gold, I have to have 1 gold and 2 silvers, and boy, if I'm going to go all the way to Emerald, I'm going to have 2 golds on each leg and 1 silver on the other leg, and I can have 4 bronzes spread around. I mean, it's that crazy that you have to manipulate where all your growth is in almost every single comp plan. It's the gotchas that most comp plans have. Plexus has nothing but volume. We measure our volume, of course, in our Plexus points. So you have 100 points of volume. You are a gold. You have 250, you're a senior gold. Have 500, you're a ruby. So what it means is it allows you to work where the work is, where the worker bees are. You're never worried about working with the least motivated, because it's that leg you have to build, which in almost every single comp plan out there, that's what you have to do. In fact, I can't name a comp plan that doesn't require you to sort of work in your organization where you least want to work. You're working with the weaker ones to get them up to a qualification that allow you to be qualified. Plexus has none of that. I've never seen a comp plan, and I've evaluated a lot, that strictly has nothing to do with the leadership you create. I mean, technically, you could go all the way to diamond and only have a bunch of silvers. You'd be doing a lot of recruiting, but you could technically do that. And that's not allowed in most comp plans. So from the comp plan perspective, there was nothing richer in the comp plan. Lastly, in the comp plan that I love, love, love is the biggest challenge when you're building a network marketing business is that maybe 10% of the people really get building an organization. They start recruiting, they develop leadership, they do personal development so they become a leader, and 90% of people, that's just not where they're at. It's either not the right timing, they don't have enough confidence right now, or what they really just like doing is promoting product. They're not that motivated by the business. In Plexus, they pay us so well on gathering and acquiring customers that we can keep those people in our business. We can keep them engaged, because if they have 10 customers and they're making $400 to $500, they're pretty darn excited about that. Absolutely. In most companies, like the one I was with for 10 years, if they spent $100, and you're not going to believe when I say this, but it's the absolute truth, $100 was about 50 points, and they were paying 7%. So $3.50 is what you got paid on somebody doing $100. So it takes a massive number of customers in order to get a reasonable check. People never believe it when I tell them from that company, when I tell them what they pay here, they think that I'm missing something. Because I don't know any other company in direct sales where there's all hand-to-hand sales, where you buy the product and you collect the money and you deliver the product. Sometimes they do have that kind of return because they have to pay you for all that work. But they pay us for that amount of work when we just send people to our website and the company does all the work, takes the order, collects the money, ships the product. You know, they do it all. So that's highly unusual, and I love it because it means we can bring somebody into the business who has no experience, and we can allow them to evolve into a builder by just enjoying promoting the products. So that was one of the key things. Of course, the management. To me, there is no, you have to have belief in the product, you have to have a good comp plan, and you have to believe in the in management. Comp plan, hands down, there isn't another one out there that touches ours, and I challenge people to find any comp plan that is as good as ours, because there isn't any, in my opinion, out there, unless they start copying ours. There isn't going to be another one. There isn't another one like ours. But we have this great management team where they have experience from the field. They get network marketing, and they stay in tune with what we want in the field. And that doesn't mean they're perfect, and that doesn't mean that everything that happens at the office is something that, you know, that everything there is perfect. It's never going to be the case, because if you have a company growing the way Plexus is, you must expect that there's going to be some challenges with growth, you know, getting enough staff, keeping enough staff, training enough staff. But the thing you have to, I think the most important thing is, if you have people who 100% get us and they care about us, and everything they do is putting us first. And we've seen this over and over and over with this company, where it's costly for them sometimes to fix things, but they do it for us.
So do you think that really sets us heads above some of these other companies, because these guys have been in the trenches and know what you and I are going through, you know, our teams are going through, and can experience, and they just have a big heart to help?
I think that has a huge thing. Like the one company that I still generate a check from, believe it or not, even though I left there in 2000, I stopped building in 2009. I've gotten a check every single month from this other company. The leadership don't get network marketing at all. They don't even function like a network marketing company. The two CEOs are attorneys who bought this company, and they don't get it. And it was one of the reasons I couldn't even have a dialogue with them about the comp plan, because they didn't understand comp plans. They just bought a company, and this was the comp plan they had. So that does set us heads above other companies. And I think, I don't know, I mean, we're all motivated, and I'm sure Tarl and Alec and Alfred are still motivated by money as well. I mean, they want the company to be successful. But they created a comp plan that, and people don't realize it, sometimes they get frustrated by the fluctuating point value. And what they don't realize is, most companies, like binaries, for example, they pay out maybe, I mean, theoretically they're supposed to pay out 50%. But because it's impossible to build organizations that are even on left side and right side, they typically are paying out 20 to 30% on the dollar. And with Plexus, it's exactly 50%. It's always 50%. And it protects the company from having their 50%, and it protects us from always having our 50% because of the way we do our points. There's no there's no flushing out of volume the way there is in other comp plans, because if you don't qualify as the only thing here would be is if, you know, if you enrolled one person, that person went diamond, then you're not getting paid on the whole organization below you. I mean, that's the one situation where you're only getting paid 1 or 2 or 3 levels, and there's a whole business. But it's so easy for people to go enroll 3 or 4 or 5 more here that I don't know if there is anybody in that situation that is missing out on money that might roll to the company. But in every other comp plan, whether it's a matrix, stair-step, breakaway, or binary, there is more than 50% of volume of commissions is being flows back to the company, because people can't qualify because there's too many complications in qualifying for their check, so they're always missing their full check. And in Plexus, it's 50% always, and that's and how they protect that is by the fluctuating dollar. They just say take 50% of the sales and they give it to us, and then they add up how many points there are in the field. That's the most brilliant thing. It's the best thing that could ever be out there. And you know, when people get frustrated by it, I think, oh man, you guys have to know this is the very best thing we have, is this fluctuating PV. It is our biggest protector for us, because they don't have to change our comp plan. Like, if other companies are constantly making changes. We've just got this perfect scenario.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, Plexus has really opened up the door, finally got Canada opened up for you guys the way that it needs to be. Is that correct? Is that going to help your business? Almost.
We can't retail products yet in Canada. We can't really advertise because until we have the new software system in place, they won't open the warehouse in Canada. So we're still on a not for resale, but really we can conduct business pretty much the way you guys do. I teach people you don't want to be an Avon lady anyway retailing products, so I teach everybody to set customers up as preferred or retail preferably preferred. Well, we can do that. We just can't be selling it out of our salons or having our neighbors come and buy it from us out of our pocket.
Okay, that's good. Well, how about this question? What are some key principles that help determine developing a successful organization? What are some things that you would suggest to our team members that would help them create a successful organization?
Well, I think the first thing is remembering that when you start building, even if it's your very first person, build as if you have 1,000. What I mean by that is make sure that everything you do can duplicate. Because when you first start, you only have 1 or 2. Well, you don't have to really worry about it because it's just you and Sally that are working the business. But if you start building with the idea that everything you do has to duplicate, then it forces you to create systems in your organization. You know, these are emails that we share, so you become dependent on our tools. I always say to people, if your mouth is talking and you're not pointing to a tool, then you need to shut up. Because if we're doing all the education with our mouth, then the person listening, it might be thinking, gosh, I don't know all that. So if your mouth is moving and you're not pointing to a tool, shut up. Because we have more tools than anybody could ever need. I mean, YouTube is just filled with them for us. Those diamond documentaries, to me, are one of the best tools we have when we're out showing people our business. I use the diamond documentaries. But we have so many videos, and we have so many tools, and we have so many incredible leaders in this company who all share their materials. So I tell people, if you build like you have 1,000 people, then you're going to start utilizing tools more, which is more duplicatable because your new people can do that. I always say to people, and you've all heard the expression from Eric Worre, it's not what works but what duplicates. Because you could be really good at what you do, so every time you get in front of somebody, they catch the vision. They want to do the business. But you can't be in front of everybody in your organization. So we have to teach people how to share the vision and share the opportunity. And we have ways of doing that. Google Hangout. We have probably day-to-day you're going to use three-way calling the most. Because you can't get somebody in front of you can't physically be in front of people, but you sure can be using three-way calling and putting somebody a little bit more experienced.
Can you speak to the importance of three-way calling for our team?
I just think it's the most important tool in our chest is three-way calling because it serves a number of purposes. And let me first start by saying I know three-way calling can be a challenge for some because they're afraid that if they put Julie or Brent or Linda Lynn or somebody on the phone that they're going to feel pressured. But that's not the purpose of a three-way call. The purpose of a three-way call is for that prospect to see that the one who introduced them, Sally, who's been in a week or 2 or a month, she doesn't know everything, and yet she's building a business. So this prospect, first of all, sees, oh, that's good. Sally doesn't know all the answers, but she has somebody she can go to. So they start to see that there's a team. But one of the primary purposes, if I get on a three-way with somebody, is my job is to edify. If I'm doing the three-way for Sally, I have the opportunity to say to the person Sally has brought on the phone, I'm really impressed with how well Sally's building. She's been here for a month. She's already got 2 ambassadors. She's got 4 customers. She's really learning this business. Sally is going to be a silver before the end of this month. That's what we try to get people to do at the end of the first month. Or, So I edify her skills and edify her learning. If she's not already a leader, then I'm just edifying, what she's doing and how well she's doing it. So that's one job of it. Her job was to edify me before the three-way, so this person knows I know my stuff. So I'm sort of the expert being called in. And we use, and you guys would do it, we all do it our own way. I'll tell you, when I do a three-way, I have a very clear system. So Brent, if you were three-waying somebody to me, we have codes. So we always start with, you would say to your prospect, hey, could you tell Natalie a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background? We always start that way because it's nice for the prospect to do the first talking. That makes them feel good. They do the talking, tell a little bit about themselves, but I might hear some hot buttons. They lost their job, they're whatever hot buttons they have, I might hear it in their introduction of themselves. Then you would say to me, Natalie, could you tell whatever the person's name is, Susie, a little bit about yourself? Now, if you say to me, and tell Susie how the products have worked for you, that's code. What you're telling me is she's not really motivated by the business right now, so don't go too heavy on the business. If you say, Natalie, tell Susie why you started in this business and what was it about Plexus that attracted you, that's code for lean heavier on the business. She's ready to hear about the business. So I know that, of course, just in the way you've asked me to conduct the introduction of myself. At this point, you're not going to talk now anymore. I'm going to develop a relationship with Susie, and you're not really talking, because when you get experience with doing three-ways, you kind of get a little bit of a flow, and you're really doing that relationship building. And now we use text messaging a lot. You might text me and say, hey, I haven't talked to her about the different options for getting the products. Do you want to go into the close? Or my job might just be done. We've talked a little bit about the business, why I chose Plexus, and then I pass it back to you, and I might be getting off the call. But it's all about edifying you if you're the one bringing me on this three-way. I have to edify you as a great leader. You've edified me, so they're listening to me, and then they see that there's teamwork. People are sometimes afraid to start the three-ways, and this is what I say to people to do. If you're going to be sitting with a prospect, and this is somebody you'd really like to get on the phone with me, I'll know that at 7:30 you're meeting with the prospect. Now, you don't say to the prospect, or it could be on the telephone or meeting, it doesn't matter. You don't say that you're setting up a three-way. Now, you don't fool them with the three-way either. I don't believe in doing that. But you might say to me, hey, Nat, I'm meeting with this person at 7:30, sometime between 7:45 and 8. If you're around, I'd love to bring you on. And, of course, now I'm going to be watching my phone for you. So now you're sitting with this person, or you're on the phone with this person, and you say, hey, listen, I don't know if Natalie's available, but I'm going to bring her in. I want her to meet you. You have some great questions. I'd love for her to be able to help answer these questions. She's got a little more experience than me, or I really think you guys would hit it off. And so when you call me, I pick up the phone and I say, hey, Brent, how are you doing? And you say, hey, I'm great. I'm just here or I'm on the phone with a friend, and I just wanted to see if you were available. I'd love to introduce you to them. And again, I don't know how your meeting's gone, but you're going to tell me how the products have worked, or tell so-and-so why you joined the business. So I don't have to know because you've already told me where I'm going in the call. And that way the person hasn't been asked, do you want to do it? It's just been sort of a spontaneous thing. And then the three-way becomes really comfortable. The biggest thing is people worry about, if you ask somebody, they're going to say, oh, no, I don't need a three-way. I'm just fine getting it all from you.
Right.
So three-ways are brilliant. Brilliant. Let me just say one more thing, and I know we're running out of time. It doesn't have to be with a support line. You do want to have somebody kind of knows what they're doing, but let's just say you're sitting with she's a single mom of 3 children. Well, if you have somebody in your business, and she's a single mom who's building the business, you three-way over. Now you take total control of the three-way. You just say, hey, I have a couple questions for you. So let's say this mom's name is Denise, and you say, hey, I've got a friend on the line who's looking at the business, and I wanted to just ask you a couple questions. Denise, how long have you been in Plexus? Denise says, I've been here 1.5 years. How many customers do you have, or how many ambassadors do you have in your business? She answers, do you mind, and you may not be comfortable with this, but I do this a lot. I'll say, do you mind just giving Denise, would you mind just giving Susie an idea of, what kind of income, approximately what kind of income you've been doing? Because you've been doing this part-time while you've been a single mom. And, would it be fair to say you make between $1,000 and $1,500 a month? And she said, yeah, I'll make that much. That's great. I just wanted Denise to see that there's other single moms out there who are building this business. And that call is all of about 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, wow, that's great.
But it just gives some validation. So that's a different function of a three-way call.
That's good. How about consistency?
One of our toughest things. I did a little Periscope today about that for myself, like kind of slapping myself on the hand, because consistency is critical. Whatever amount of time you have, whether it's 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week or 20 hours a week. But the biggest challenge people have in network marketing is that no matter how good you are, no matter how skilled, no matter what kind of leader, you are always bringing people in, and some of them are going to fall off. You know, they come in with false expectations, or things change in their life. They're not able to work right now. Timing suddenly changes. There's a marriage separation, whatever. So people come in, and it's this ebb and flow in the business. They're coming in, they're going out. They're coming in, they're going out. It's just the way it is. So if we're not consistently enrolling people, that we're keeping them nice and stagnant. It's just sort of, you put 20 in and 20 go out, and you end up with the same net of 0 growth at the end of the month. You've always got to stay ahead of the attrition that's normal in network marketing. So if you're not doing personal recruiting, you might even have team growing down below, but then it's too deep. So consistency of the right activity, the income producing activities, not consistency of listening to YouTube videos and consistency of checking your reports. I'm guilty of that. We all are. We all go through periods of time that we do that. We get lazy. And I can say that I've had, over the last few months, I've gone through little periods that I've done some good recruiting. It's been 19 months since my husband died, and I went 7 months, I didn't put anybody in. 7 months after he passed away, I didn't put one person in. And my business, kind of, because of all the work I had done that first year, it did pretty well. I mean, it grew. I actually went to Emerald during that period of time. But if you're not doing it consistently, and one of the problems is if you don't do it consistently, you lose your confidence and you lose that recruiting muscle. The more you do it, the easier it gets. But once you stop, you kind of forget how to do it, and it becomes awkward again. So consistency, of more than anything, is just staying in the groove and keeping comfortable with recruiting.
That's awesome. Stay in the groove. Well, Natalie, I sure appreciate your time tonight. It's been awesome. I love the things that you said, especially if your mouth is moving and you're not pointing to a tool, shut up. That really is true, because, you know, we have to do things that are duplicatable. So build as if you have 1,000 on your team, even if you have 2 on your team, and that's fabulous. And I firmly believe that the consistency is critical. That is really very important, because, you know, we've seen some things in our life, and we kind of slowed down, and we're not real consistent, and getting that plexus groove back, it's taken a little while. We're back into it, but, you know, you're right. If that muscle slows down or weakens, it really does affect you, and it does hinder you. Lyndalyn, were there any questions? Did you see any? I didn't get it.
Yeah, I know that Jennifer asked somewhere here. What is your first exposure tool? When you're first exposing somebody to Plexus, what tool do you use?
Well, what I do most of the time is I have just a little recorded webinar that is about 30 minutes that I did on the presentation. But lately what I've been doing is I send them the little product video from the company. I send them number 2 of the compensation plan, the second of the compensation plan. I pick a diamond documentary that I think that's going to resonate with them, sometimes because it's somebody in their area, or it's somebody they're sort of closer to their age, or it's somebody because of their profession. And I'll ask them just to take a look at those couple things, and then set up a conference call with them. I just want them to get just a little picture of the company.
Okay, cool. I don't see anything else right now, Brent.
Okay, thank you.
Lyndalyn, I definitely want to connect with you and find out what you did to get 10 people in the last 48 hours. I want to know what this thing is that you did. So I won't probably for the next day or two because I'm not going to even have any internet when I move to my house tomorrow, but I am going to message you on Facebook and get some of your secrets.
Okay, well, just so you know, it's 11 now.
Oh! Awesome. What were you going to say, Julie?
Earlier, you had said something about the some of the residual income that you're getting from the company that you used to be in, and you still get that residual income. The people, they had bought the business, they were not network marketers, but lawyers, right? Okay. That made me think of when you spoke to us at convention, and you spoke about skill versus passion. And you told the story, which I had never heard, the story of Samuel Langley versus the Wright brothers.
Right.
And can you tell a little bit about that? Because that, to me, just, I mean, it was inspiring to me because you know, like I said, I'd never heard of this man, but I had heard of the Wright brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. Samuel Langley was actually the man who was supposed to create the first flight, the first plane, a flight. It was supposed to be him. He got money from the Smithsonian. He got money from the U.S. government. New York Times was following him around all the time. Every time he had an attempted flight, they were there to record it. He had unlimited resources, and he had a team of scientists, physicists, and scientists who were helping this man. And a state just a few states away were the two Wright brothers, who were also attempting to create the first vehicle of flight. And they didn't have any money. They just collected their money from their bike shop. Nobody knew who they were. Nobody was following them. They had a few friends who volunteered their time to help them and who were there when they were doing the flight. So in 1903, I think it was, when they took flight, there was nobody to record them. The world didn't even know about it for a few days. And the difference were the Wright brothers were motivated because they believed this could change the world. If they could figure out how to fly, how to create this flight, it could change the world. But Samuel was motivated by the money and the becoming famous from it. That's what he expected. He would become really famous. So he had different motivations than the Wright brothers. And so it was a few days later, and nobody remembers. And in fact, the Wright brothers utilized some of the technology that Samuel Pierpont Langley had created, but they just took it to a whole other level. So they were passionate and they were motivated by the right things. And Samuel was only motivated by the money and the fame. So
Right.
even though he had all the resources available to him.
Right. And I think you had said at convention, had he just gone to them and said, let's put my skill with your passion, it could just do amazing things.
But he walked away. He wanted nothing to do with them.
Right. So you've got to have that passion.
Well, that's the great thing about One Plexus.
Mm-hmm.
People have different skill level, and other people have the passion.
Here you are in the middle of a move, and you take a break to help us and to help our team.
And that's because this is the culture of Plexus, right? You guys were the very first speakers on our team call.
Yep.
Very first one, because we met you. You got on the cruise. You were both rubies at the time. You weren't emeralds yet, or senior rubies maybe, but maybe both senior rubies. We didn't really know very many people. You guys were just really friendly. And so we got talking to you. And you were our first speaker on the call, and that for me is what this company is all about. Everybody, I've never seen a company where they truly, genuinely support one another's success, and not only support it, invest in each other's success.
Right.
That's unheard of because they almost pit leaders against each other in a lot of companies, and they don't share systems, they don't share meetings in a lot of cases, and that had a lot to do with Alfred because that was what his vision was. And that is definitely something here that I cherish. And I think it's why we're going to have such an incredible long future, is because everybody works together.
That's awesome. Well, I was listening and reading one quote I'll leave you guys with. It says, you can have dreams and excuses, but you can't have both. So it's important that we need to make sure that we have our dreams. Or don't live on your excuses. Get those dreams, build those dreams, and continue to go, because dreams and excuses won't exist together.
I love that.
You can't have both of those together. Natalie, thank you so much. Lindalyn, thank you again for your time. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to just have quick word of prayer and ask God to bless our businesses. And Natalie, thank you so much. And
Thank you.
You get your husband the emerald this month.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Lord, thank you for Natalie's time tonight, and Lord, just for pouring out her experience and her passion for each of us. We're so blessed that she gave us 45 minutes of her time to be on, Lord, right in the middle of her move. I pray that you would bless as she's trying to get her husband's position to Emerald, and Lord, you work out all of the details that need to fall in line for that. Lord, I pray for our team members that you would bless them, help our week to be profitable. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much. Good night from Pensacola. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Linda.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.